Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today's episode, I am talking about model what works. So I actually recalled a story or a call I had with a friend of mine who's an angel investor. And we were talking about the kinds of deals that he likes to look at and the kinds of deals that he sees get funded and the kind that don't. And he was talking about how people are coming to him quite often with these brand new ideas, this never before seen thing that no one's ever even heard of before. And this is the thing that's going to change the world. And he's like, yo, I would love to invest in those projects, but I absolutely have no interest in those projects. And the reason being is because it's never been seen before. No one's ever looked at this. This idea is completely fresh. It can't be related to anything else. And because of that, he's like, there's no way to know if it's going to make money. And, my job or his job, as an angel investor is to make money on his money. It's not to just hope and pray that things turn into the next big thing since sliced bread, right? It's he wants his money to earn money. And now he's also let me know in the past that he expects only 1 out of 3 of the projects that he invests in to actually make any money. Everything else he expects to just kind of, fall by the wayside or break even or just lose money completely. So his goal when he's investing is not so much this brand new, shiny new, never before seen thing. It's what works. How is this related to what works already? How does this make things better? How does it make it faster, stronger, more profitable? What have you? It's how can you tell me what it relates to, and then how does it, how can you prove that it's going to make money beyond that? And so I was sitting here thinking of a streamer I was on the phone with the other day, and his thing was he's trying to be completely new, completely different, and I'm like, and you're making content that's completely new, completely different. How are you going to get anybody to watch you if it's not like anything they've ever seen before? I mean, he wanted to be more of a content creator. So he's focusing on creating this new type of content, right? Like if no one's ever seen this thing before, what are the odds that anyone's going to want to watch it? I'm here in the gaming space. I do business content. I talk about business principles. I have people on talking about what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Excuse me. And, my content is new in the space. And because it's new in the space, I don't see a lot of traction. In fact, I see other people who are also kind of doing business related content, maybe on esports or in the streaming space. And they don't get a lot of traction. They don't get a lot of movement. They don't get a lot of views or following. And it's fascinating because, everybody's like, I got to find my niche. I got to find the thing that makes me different. And it's incredibly important to find the thing that makes you different. However, if the people who you're trying to promote to aren't interested in that kind of content, then it's not likely you're going to get much interest in your content, right? How did one of my mentors put it? He's like, think of the pioneer. You don't want to be the first pioneer out in the wilderness, or you're going to end up with all the arrows in your back. You want to see where all the pioneers with the arrows in their back are, avoid all the mistakes that they made, and then just do what they did that got them to where they needed to be without any arrows in your back, right? You don't want to be the person who's just like the first one into the space and like, I have no idea what I'm doing here, and it doesn't go well for you, right? You want to stand on the shoulders of giants, so to speak. So, how does this relate to gamers, right? Well, as content creators, that's easy. You don't have to just come up with content ideas whole cloth. You don't have to sit there and rack your brain. What can I come up with? Just look at YouTube, see what's already performing well, and then make content kind of like that, right? Use the kind of same headlines. Make your videos kind of the same as other people's videos. It's a great way to get your videos to get seen and enjoyed because other people already enjoy that type of video. In fact, I was just watching Wreck-It Ralph 2 with my daughter. And in it, they were, he's trying to, I don't want to spoil the movie, but he's trying to get famous on the internet real quick and their version of YouTube is BuzzTube. And the algorithm in the the movie is telling him, how do you get famous? Is you just do the same thing everybody else is already doing. That's already famous, right? So he does that. He pulls it off. So same thing, more or less. You have to create content that's a lot like what people are already making. I'm not saying copy it. Do not make a frame for frame copy of what they're making, because that'll never fly. You got to put your own twist on it, your own like special deal on that type of content. When it comes to streamers, playing, a lot of people come to me and they're like, hey, Brad, how am I supposed to get famous playing this game when it's so oversaturated? There's already so many people playing this game. There's no hope of me ever being found. But like conversely, with so many people watching that or playing that game, there's a good odds that there's a lot of people playing that game. So it's not so much an issue of there's too many people already playing the game. It's an issue of you're not getting anybody to watch you play the game, right? So there's no such thing as competition. The only competition you have is for yourself. Like, how do I do better? How do I reach more people? How do I get more people to enjoy my content? And if you're not asking those questions, if you're focused on everybody else and how that person's getting all the viewers and that person's getting all the viewers and that person's getting all the viewers, there's just no room for me here, then you're not asking the right questions. You're not trying to figure out the right thing to do in order to grow yourself in the space where you're already at. There's a great, I think it was a sermon. It was a lecture. It was a lecture called, don't ask me who did it. It was called Acres of Diamonds. Go find that on YouTube. It's absolutely phenomenal lecture on, figuring out where the opportunity is for you, exactly where you're already at. And it's like an hour, 2 hours long. It's really, really good though. So that for you streamers, I'll do that. And on the esports side, same thing. Too many people are like trying to be the next new thing in esports. And come on, business is business. Everybody's like trying to be different, trying to be unique. Why don't you just do what works in another industry, bring it into esports where it currently isn't already available, and then just market yourself in a way that you can prove yourself that you have value. And like, that's the biggest issue I see with people in esports is they're trying to be so different and so unique and so special that they aren't anything special at all, because they're not helpful, they're not valuable. Go find what already works somewhere else that isn't available here, that would work here in the esports space, and then do that. And the same applies to any other gamer out there who wants to be in business, who is an entrepreneur, a gamerpreneur. Just find something that's already working and then model it. All right. If you go and listen to Tony Robbins, he'll tell you the exact same thing. Like, all right, like find what works and then model it. And that's like the key to success. That's the key to growth. It's the key to building a business that is viable, is not trying to just come up with something yourself. It's look around, see what works, and go, I want to do a lot like that. I'm going to do a lot like that. You want to know how Walmart got as big as it was? Sam Walton had a small little grocery store. And every single night and every single weekend, he would just drive around to all the other grocery stores in his town, and then eventually in his state, and eventually in as far as he could drive. And he would see what they did right. He would see what they did wrong. And then he would just do the things that everybody was doing right. He would avoid the things everybody was doing wrong. And his store grew. And then he started building additional stores. And then he started expanding. And it's now one of the wealthiest companies in the world. And he did it by doing exactly what I'm telling you to do today. And he did it a long time ago when, gas was much cheaper. All right, so that's what I got for you all today. Going to remind you all, organization is the enemy of sloth. Take some time. Too many people just try to rush into this stuff just because they think they have to. You don't have to rush. You can take your time. You can write things out. You can come up and do your research. Too many people don't have any conception of how to do research. Research is like the thing that I was the king at when I was an attorney. And that's the thing that people would come to me for, because they just didn't feel it was important, or they didn't think it was, they didn't know how to do it well. Nobody spends enough time figuring out how to do research. And research is just one of those skills that if you can figure that out, you can be golden in any industry you want to be a part of. Like, you can always find a spot for yourself if you can be the person who knows how to get the information. It pays to know how to acquire information. Quote by Napoleon Hill. See, I know some people's names. I think it was from Think and Grow Rich. All right, that's what I got for you. Don't be just a gamer. Be a gamerpreneur.